morning. I am the sub once again. We are reading from Exodus chapter 32 this morning. But before we get there, I want to do a quick review of what we've been covering so far. We started out with the study of Exodus. And we're traveling with God's people as they leave a situation where they're enslaved, where they have been put to impossible tasks at the hands of very severe taskmasters. And they just want to get out. So they cried out to God to save them because they belong to Him. And they need a miracle. And so God hears their prayers. And I believe that it's not only that He hears their prayers, but He sees that they're ready to move on. They're ready to move on, and He wants to bring them out of their current tragic situation. He wants to bring them into the Holy Land. If we as believers are reading the Bible and we're looking at it as a historical document, you have maybe misaligned yourself. We are looking at the Bible. It is not a historical record only. And it's not going to record every single fact that happened during that time, because that's not the purpose of the Bible. The purpose of the Bible, this is God's perspective. He is offering us a spiritual narrative. His perspective, and He's at the same time, He's painting a picture of what does it look like as Christians? What does it look like now that we've been called out of this world? Why have we been called out? And what does this journey look like? And He starts out with separating from the Egyptians. These bad things happened to the Egyptians really by their own choice. They chose, right? They did not choose God. They did not choose to put the blood of the lamb over their doorposts. They chose to be separated from God. And here are the people of God. They chose to be separated unto God. They chose God's side. They chose and they said, this is what God has commanded us, and so this is what we are going to do. We're going to obey. We are going to believe His word. When He says, put that blood on, we believe that that will bring us life. And so, therefore, it brought them life. And what we call that today is, we call it holy. We call that holy. We call it separated. So what does it mean for a Christian now to be holy in our lives? What does it mean to be holy? What does it look like to be separated? What is a good definition for this, or a good summation of this? There are only 500 of you here. What does it mean to be holy or separated to God in your life? Practically speaking. So we've applied, the angel of death is not coming tonight to kill off all the firstborn. He will hope. What was it? The blood of Christ, right? We do have the blood of Christ, but in your life, tonight, are you applying that over your doorpost physically? Probably not. What are the actions that we take? What does it mean to be holy? Huh? We recognize that we are sinful. That's definitely, it's not what anyone else in this world is going to do. Whenever have you walked into a job interview and said, I'm awful? Right? I'll tell you right now, I'm awful. No. So we're going to be different in that way, right away. We understand I need help. There's a humility, there's a confession of sin, there's an understanding of what our role is before God. Anything else? What else does it mean to be holy? We pray, we derive help from the Lord, right? And we have a relationship with the Lord. Anything else? I don't have anything in mind. I'm just seeing what you have in your mind. We tithe. We do good things with our money, right? We make a choice to contribute to the church with our money. We put our money where our belief is. Okay.
Sunday service, or we meet together in congregation.
We spend Sunday mornings meeting together and worshiping the Lord. This is all quite different than what the things that the world would choose, right? I would propose that in the book of Exodus, God is really mapping out what it means to be holy. What does it mean to be separate? And if we start from the beginning, it has to do with when he says, when he calls the Egyptians, the Israelites out of Egypt, he said, and they said, who are you? Matter of fact, it's been so long, we cried out to a God, but which one are you? Because we're in a country that is full of gods, little g, gods, right? Full of things to worship, full of ideas and ideologies that can promote us and make us a better life. And so who are you? And Moses asks us, who am I supposed to say that you are? Which one are you? And God says, I am, that I am. Actually, he says, I am. But in Hebrew, it says, I am. What does that mean? What does it mean, I am? And today we're going to take a little further look at that. He starts out with, this is the crux of holiness, recognizing that God is our I am, and he is going to be the source for whatever it is that we need. Now, if we look at what makes us holy, the first thing is, where were they going? They were going to Egypt at that time was maybe at the height of its glory. You know, it's like, I don't know, is it like San Francisco? What is it, like Los Angeles? Is it like America where everybody wants to come right now, right? New York City. This is where you want to be, all right? Israel, the land that they were going to, was nothing. It was nothing. It was in itself a wilderness. What kind of person is going to say, I don't want what Egypt has to offer. I want what's out there where there's nothing. We have a different goal. God gives us a different goal. It was a different goal for the Israelites. We learn through Jesus, what Jesus teaches us. It's not really the physical land of Israel. It is Jesus himself. It is a different goal. From what the world is seeing, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like nothing. But there's a secret buried within there that God is there. And he is going to be our goal. And as we know, our goals will shape the path that we walk on. It will define the road we take. It's a different road if I'm going to Hawaii, to New York, or to Los Angeles. I'm taking a different vehicle, right? I'm going by boat to Hawaii, there's different roads that you can take there. But depending on what your destination is, what your goal in life is, the road will be different. The path you travel will be different. And so it's a different path. Now, the second thing is now the path that we are traveling on. It is a holy path. It is separate. It is different than everything that the world is teaching us. Again, who gets to the 13th floor by going down to the basement? Nobody. Nobody. So God is already saying, look, I'm going to take you through a wilderness path. The longest way around. The worst way around. The most difficult. That's what the world sees. But God is shaping his people in the midst of these days. Right? He is providing for them. And so it is a path that is holy. It is separate from what the world is teaching us. It's a different way. And everyone is going to look at it and say, I don't get it. Why would you go that way? Here, I have an easier way to get there. I have an easier way to get to success. Isn't that what you're looking for? Actually, we're looking for Jesus. And even today, there's an easier way to get to Jesus. The Bible lays it out for us. It is the wilderness. What happens in the wilderness? What feeds us along this road? A few weeks ago, Brother Jason talked about manna. What is it? What is it? And that's what the meaning of the word manna in Hebrew means. It means, what is it? And Jason shared with us that it wasn't like, I'm so amazed, what is it? It was like, what is it? What is this? Okay, so I'm here, I'm walking through, just imagine this, you are going on, how many of you have been like on multiple day, or any of you the Boy Scouts on multiple day hikes? Hiked for 2-3 days? Or you knew you had something, an arduous journey coming. Let's just say you're hiking for 5 hours. How many have been hiking for maybe half a day? Are you going to get up and eat ice cream? Probably not, right? Are you packing s'mores as a snack? What I've seen is people, they have like those little protein bars, they've got trail mix, they've got beef jerky, things that give you strength to go on, right? They don't want just water, they want special water, right? They want Gatorade, they want electrolytes. vitamin water, whatever the new thing is that's going to help you go on and on and on and provide your journey. I had dinner with our football staff the other night, and they eat meat. These guys, they sit down and every salad, they want meat. They want hunks of steak. And they want to eat lots of carbs, right? They want bread and meat. That's what we're here for, bread and meat. And that's what is logical. That's what we've been taught. But yet the Israelites, they cry out. They're like, we have nothing to eat. And guess what? They don't know it, but yeah, they're going to be in this wilderness for 40 years. And God sends down, what is it? It's this light white thing, this powdery substance. And it tastes great, but did they know that? They didn't. How did they find out that? Today when we talk about manna, most Christians say, what is manna? Like, oh, it's the bread of heaven. How did it go from what is it to the bread of heaven? It was experience. Somebody tried it. And it wasn't in one day. Somebody tried to take too much of it. Somebody tried to keep it for more than one day. Somebody tried this. And we found out that this is what God is feeding us with. And it was like, what does Tolkien call it? Lemmus bread, whatever the elves ate, right? It made us full. It was amazing. It provided the supply. When God answered prayer, the supply He gave us, it helped us to get to the next stop and the next stop. And there are times, maybe His answer was no, but that supplied us, that helped us. There were times we looked at the answer to our prayer and we said, that's not what I was asking for. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I prayed for. It was manna. What is it? And then, but we took it. We ingested it. We made it part of our lives, that answer, and it brought us to the next stop, and we were just fine. Matter of fact, we were great. It's a different way to live than what the world is telling you. It's a different way to live than saying, look, this is what you got to do. You get straight A's in kindergarten, okay? And then you get straight A's in elementary school, and then you are 110% in middle school, and then you're 120% in high school, and then you're 200% in college plus internship, and then you're going to have success in life, and you get through life just fine because your bank account will be like this big, you know, and your computer will be very heavy from all the files that you've stored in it, right? And this is what the world teaches us. And Jesus is saying, you know what, there's a better way. Every day when you wake up, I have something for you, for today. I can provide for you, just ask me. I can get you through this day, and then the next day, and the next day. It's something that is completely separate and holy from everything that we have been taught since day one from the world. It's a different way of feeding ourselves. It's not the protein that the world is looking for, but it is a protein that can get us all the way through our journey. So we come now to chapter 32. And chapter 32, there is this question of, what do we worship? And let us read together. I can read the whole chapter. It's a little bit of a long chapter. But let us read, starting from verse 1. Now when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, the people gathered together to Aaron and said to him, come, make us gods that shall go before us. For this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we did not know what has become of him. And Aaron said to them, break out off the golden earrings, which were in the ears of your wives, and your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people broke off the golden earrings, which were in their ears, and brought them to Aaron. And he received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned it with an engraving tool and made a molded calf. Then they said, this is your God, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Egypt. So when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. Then they rose early on the next day, offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. All right, what just happened there? Moses is going to meet with God, and he is in the process, we know from the end of the story, and actually from the previous chapters, Moses is in the process of receiving some instructions from the Lord of how are we going to get through all this, how are we going to worship God, How are we as a people going to worship the Lord? All right? With a Lord, a God that we can't see. Well, they could see him. He was fire and cloud. He was natural elements that may shift, right? And so, but how are we going to bring our worship to God? And as he's up there, the Israelites say, And you have to imagine, I don't remember the numbers, was it 2 million people, 1 million people? It was a large group, it was a large gathering by any estimation. And they said, we don't know where that guy went. And so we need a God or gods to bring us out. We need something that's going to supply us. And that's really, when we think about God, he is the I am. And we need someone to say, I am your leader, I am your guide, I will get you through this, I am that. We need something. And so Aaron, and I think he may have learned this in Egypt, right? He has an idea. Well, give me all your gold. And it doesn't mention that he melted it, but I'm thinking he probably somehow managed to build a fire that was hot enough, right, to melt gold. And then it says he takes that engraving tools and he molds it. He molds it into a cap, or a small cow. And he says, this small cow, this is your God. And everyone, for some reason, says, yes, this small cow is the I am. That thing is going to lead us through the wilderness. And right then and there, what does verse 6 tell us? They rose early on the next day, offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings to the people. Sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play. Right away, do you think they wanted someone to lead them? Do you think they're going anywhere at this point? They've settled down. Their purpose in life is now to eat, drink, and play. Eat, drink, and play. Okay? We're in a desert. A cow, we have passion for ourselves, a small cow. And we are now going to eat, drink, and play before this thing. Is that cow going to move? Probably not. And I think they know it. Think of our lives. What is it that we worship? What is it that we are given to? What are our goals? Right away, they change it. They have a tangible object for worship, right? And their goals are different right away. They are now not people on the move. We're going somewhere. We're getting somewhere. We're going to a better place than this. We're going to sit down, eat, and drink, and when we get up, it's to play. When we sit down, we're going to eat and drink. When we get up, it's going to be for playing. Think of that in terms of our lives. Is this indicative of how we live at all? I have to say, many a time it is. You know, I'm thinking all the time of like, what's the next meal going to be? I want it to be good. I want it to be tasty. I want to try the latest thing that everyone else is trying. Right? What am I going to go for vacation? That's what I'm working for. Right? That's me. You know, I spent some time talking about vacation with my sister-in-law, and I was like, oh, you know, we want to go to this place or that place, you know. And then in my mind, it's like, okay, so I'm going to have to work this many days to get this amount of money to go this place. It is all wrapped up in this one verse. What's the thing that we worship? And how do we know what we worship? It's how we live our lives. It's going to tell everyone what we worship, right? I'm going to sit down to eat and drink well, and I'm going to play hard when I get up. These are now my goals. It's not going anywhere. And it's so interesting, this issue of worship. Our hearts, just imagine yourself. This is how I describe my heart. It's kind of like fly paper. Have you guys ever seen fly paper? Or bug traps? Okay, so fly paper, when I was young, it was this piece of sticky, very sticky paper, and it was maybe a foot long, and we hung it, all right? We hung it by the kitchen, we hung it, maybe we were eating outside, and it smelled good because there was some sort of substance on it, and flies would go there. And it would stick on it, right? It would stick on it. The high school that I work with, we go to a camp every year, and every time I look under the beds, they have bed bug traps, okay? And it's also just a piece of sticky paper. And bugs will go there and be stuck. My heart is like that paper, you know, but yet I'm walking in a dusty path, right? And so it's sticky, and all this dust now is sticking on me. It's sticking on me, and I stick to things. It's hard to just keep on going. It's hard to get a clear path forward, because every little thing, you know, it's like squirrel. Oh wow, that was a neat squirrel. Did you guys see that squirrel? You know? Wow, fireworks over there. And my eyes are constantly shifting. And so I don't get anywhere. And things are stuck on me. That's the way my heart works. Now, what is the other problem with worship? Why is God saying worship God alone? Why does he want that? Is he just cool? Is he saying, look, I don't want you to eat or drink. I don't want you to play. I don't think that's the reason. I think the real reason here, if we read really this chapter, if we read, there's a great book on it, and it's called We Become Who We Worship. We become the thing that we worship. So there's a lot of problems in this. Now, if you're worshiping, did the people become a gold cow? In some ways. They might look good on the outside, but is there life in them? Can it hear? Can we hear the Lord? Can we speak? Can we give any sort of direction that would give people real direction in life, real meaning in life? Can we give hope? We become the thing we worship. And it's such a fine line. This is why God says, trust in me every day, on a day-by-day basis. Because sometimes, as we see with Aaron, okay, this is the work of his hands, really. He made this, okay? I don't think he maybe made a great thing, because we were watching Apollo 11, the documentary last night, and it had a close-up shot of Apollo 11. Commented to my kids, I'm looking at this thing, it's like, wow, back in those days, they made the space capsule. It looked like someone made it out of tinfoil in their backyard. You know, like the welding, it was so not Tesla. You know, it wasn't really refined or smooth. It really just looked like, and there's pieces falling off as it, you know, goes up, right? And it was kind of flattened, you know, right? And it was rough. It was rough. Think of what Aaron was making these days, in those days. You know those animals you make out of geometric shapes? I feel like that's what the cow made, the calf, the golden, that's kind of what it looked like. It wasn't anything great, but he spent time on it. He molded it. And he's proud of his work. And now we're going to worship it. How often have we done that? How often have we done the same thing? I spent a lot of time on a project. I spent a lot of time, it used to be like I wrote things. I felt like they were beautiful pieces that I wrote. Until I was rejected by like 100, you know, different publications. No one wanted to publish what I wrote. But when I'm finished writing it, I feel like I've spent so much effort on this. I've spent so much time on this. I've built something here. It automatically becomes the center of worship for me. It becomes the thing that I hold up. No one can touch this, and this is what I'm given to now. I'm going to worship the work of my hands. When we look at the degrees that we get, the accolades that we get, the awards that, I don't have any, so I don't put them up on the wall because I don't have any. You know, but if I had some, I might put them up on the wall, I don't know. And we worship those gold plaques. We worship the things that we have made ourselves. What is the problem inherent in that? Is we become like that. And there is no life in those things. There is no life in those things. And it gets old, so then we find the next thing, and we have to work harder to find the next thing to worship. And then we have to work harder to find the next thing to worship. Is that not true? We worship the work of our own hands. Because I invested in it. I put time into it. Sometimes you spend a lot of money on a car, you know? My brother did this with his first car. He would spend hours just, you know, buffing it out. Right? You can't get a scratch on this car. He worked hard, you paid for something. He didn't really pay for it. My parents paid for it. But it was of value, you know. And it's something no one else can touch. It's my idol now. It's easy to say, it's easy for us to say, I'm not going to ever bow down to an idol. I'm going to be like Daniel. When that trumpet blows and there's a huge idol over there, when I walk by a temple and people say, bow down to the idol, I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to. I worship the Lord. I worship Jesus. I'm not going to bow down to your idols. But it's going to be very difficult to say, I'm not going to worship the things that I made. It's in the small, it's a little more subtle than that. And I think the enemy is much more, he's smarter than that. You know, he's not always saying, here's a golden statue, please bow down. Here's a golden cow, please bow down. No, it's something that we have fashioned. It may be crude, it may look dumb and ugly to others, but it's something that we made. And this is the thing that is going to draw our attention. Be it our careers, be it our projects, be it whatever it is, be it our children, it is going to be the thing that we think is worthy of our time and our money and our worship. And so God is trying to save us from that. He's like, look, there's no life in that. There is no life in that. Worship me because I can give you. I am joy. I can give you the thing that you're looking for. I can give you the thing that you are so eagerly searching for, that you want to derive from these objects that are lifeless. Do you need health? Do you need wealth? Why do you need those things? There's a deeper thing that you're looking for, and I am that thing. I am. And that's why he calls himself that. Now, let's go on. Moses. God tells Moses this. And so Moses says, and God says, you know what? I can kill off everyone here. I can get rid of this heartless people that refuse to choose me. They've chosen to be not alive. They've chosen to worship not alive. Let it be that way. I can still keep my promise and make a nation of you, Moses. And Moses says, no, don't do that. Is it because Moses is saying, no, I care for all 2 million of these people? Is that what Moses cares about? Now, Moses has been spending time with God. Who do you think Moses cares about? He cares about God. He cares about God. He says, God, don't do that because everyone's going to see this and they're going to mock you. They're not going to understand. It is not a good representation of who you are. I'm concerned for who you are, for how people see you. And so Moses is the first, really, not the first, but he's an evangelist. He is going to carry himself, and the message he's preaching here is, no, it matters. It matters what people think about God. It matters through my actions and through the way that I'm interceding for these people. I care about God. I care about God's reputation. Okay, and so God turns his heart. Moses goes down to the mountain. I'm going to skip to verse 25 and I'm going to read this to you. Now when Moses saw that the people were unrestrained, for Aaron had not restrained them to their shame among their enemies. I don't know what your version says. The word restrained here. What does it mean? Moses saw that these people, they were unrestrained. We can say they were undisciplined, and that's actually, they had no oversight. Aaron had not provided oversight. What does it mean? The word here, I looked it up last night, it means naked. It's not just that they were like, undisciplined. They were naked. They were naked. And they were completely threw off any sort of protection from them, right? Anything that would be able to discipline them to go on to the next step. And they liked it. They were unrestrained. And Aaron had caused them to be naked to their shame. Do you think they knew that they were naked to their shame? Probably not. You ever hear about the story of the king, the emperor without clothes? The one person who doesn't know that he's not wearing any clothes is the emperor, right? So many times going to throw off restraint. We're throwing off restraint and we say, I'm going to be me. I'm right. It's that rise of self. And God says, for Aaron had not restrained them to their shame among their enemies. Not only were they put to shame, they were put to shame among their enemies. There were people out there looking to attack, looking to get them. And so Moses calls and he says, and it's a bloody episode, he says, who is on the Lord's side? And that's where the song comes from. Who is on the Lord's side? Who shall stand before the king? Who is on the Lord's side? Who is willing to gird up their, say, hey, I'm not going to go after every pleasure. I'm not going to pursue everything. I'm not going to be a part of the world. I'm going to be holy. What I derive my hope from, my goals, the things that I worship, the way that I get there, what gives me strength. This is what's going to make me holy, and it's going to be all about God. And I'm going to be a survivor. Moses calls for these people, and it happens to be the tribe of Levi, and that's how we get the Levitical priesthood from this moment. They chose God. They chose God. And they made that choice and said, I'm for God. The people, everyone at this time was unrestrained. They were naked to the shame of, they put themselves to shame before their enemies. What is the hope in here? God is not looking to punish his people. He is looking to give us life. And he is, as Moses very aptly says, he is full of loving kindness. He doesn't just say, okay, look, I'm done with you. Time and time again, if you're anything like me, you're going to find that you're like fly paper. You're stuck on something now. You're stuck on something. You're stuck on, it could be a small thing. It could be a small problem at work. You're trying to figure it out on your own, and you're not going to give it to the Lord. You're stuck on, I need to get to, I'm going to climb the ladder instead of going down in the wilderness. I'm going to climb the ladder, the career path. I am going to do what's best for me. I'm going to eat that protein. That is not manna. I am going to do it my way. So many times in my life I've said that. But every time I cried out to the Lord, he rescued me out of that. He saved me. And he brought me back again. And again it was, okay, let's go over this. What are your goals, Alice? What are you worshiping? Turn it around. I'm right here to help you with that. Do you need something hot and sweet? Yes. And that tastes like wafers and honey. Why, yes, I do. I do need that. Do you need something that's going to sustain you? I do need that. And so as we come before the table of the Lord, once again, every Sunday, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, when we wake up in the morning, realign yourself. Realign yourself. Spend, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be an hour, Realign your mind. Focus. What is my goal? What is my goal for today? It is still the Lord. What am I going to worship in this day? How am I going to get through this day? Jesus, give me sustenance. Provide me, I don't know what it's going to be. What is it? Provide that for me. Provide that manna in my life. And every day we ask the Lord. Every day we come back. And pretty soon we find ourselves before the Lord, having crossed that river of life, having crossed the wilderness. That's how you overcome. One day at a time. Half a day at a time. After lunch. I've lost my focus. Realign yourself. Realign yourself. We're going to end there. I'm going to ask Peter to come up and lead worship for us.